Captain Daniel Wright stood at the viewport of the Earth Alliance vessel Intrepid watching as the massive alien ship approached. His heart raced, but his face remained calm. This was it. First contact with the Galactic Council. "They're hailing us, Captain," said Communications Officer Peter Wells. "On screen," Wright ordered, straightening his uniform. The screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, slender alien with iridescent blue skin and large almond-shaped eyes. "I am High Counselor Vextheri of the Galactic Council. We welcome you, humans, to the greater galactic community." Wright nodded respectfully. "I am Captain Daniel Wright of Earth Alliance. We come in peace and friendship." Within hours, Diplomatic Officer Samantha Hayes arrived via shuttle to begin formal talks. Hayes, with her sharp mind and calm demeanor, had been preparing for this moment her entire career. "The Council represents 7 advanced species," Vextheri explained as they sat in the ornate meeting chamber aboard the Council ship. "We have brought peace and prosperity to this sector for over 2,000 years." Hayes listened carefully, taking notes on her tablet. "And what would Earth's status be in this council?" "A probationary member, of course," said Krelzak, a reptilian counselor with scales that shifted colors as he spoke. "All new species begin there, but we offer protection, technology sharing, and cultural exchange." Hayes raised an eyebrow. "And what do you expect in return?" "Simply your participation and adherence to council laws," Vextheri said, his voice smooth as silk. "And of course, access to study your unique biological and cultural traits. Humans have evolved differently than most spacefaring races." The negotiations lasted 3 days. Hayes was surprised by how quickly the council agreed to favorable terms. When she mentioned this to Wright in private, he frowned. "It does seem too easy," Wright said, staring at the stars through his cabin window. "They're giving us access to their medical technology, FTL improvements, and defense systems. What are they really getting from us?" Hayes shrugged. "They seem genuinely interested in our art, music, and literature. And they asked many questions about our rapid technological advancement over the last century." Wright said, but the uneasy feeling remained. When they returned to Earth, the world's governments quickly approved the agreement. Admiral Joseph Carter was one of the few voices urging caution. "We know nothing about these aliens," Carter argued during the final approval meeting. "We should take more time." "We can't afford to be left behind," countered General Linda Moore. "The benefits are too great." In the end, Earth joined the Galactic Council as a probationary member. The first alien embassy opened in Geneva 2 months later. Humans marveled at the alien visitors, while Council scientists began their study of Earth's cultures and technology. Earth shared its unique scientific innovations, particularly in computer science, genetic engineering, and quantum physics, areas where the Council representatives showed surprising interest. In return, the Council provided limited technical knowledge that, while advanced, seemed carefully measured. "Notice how they never actually demonstrate the technology," Wright said to Hayes 6 months later. "They watched as alien engineers installed defensive monitoring systems in Earth orbit. They give us the results, but never the underlying science." Hayes had noticed the same pattern. "They're keeping us dependent on them for maintenance and upgrades." Over the next 5 years, Earth's position in the Council remained probationary, despite repeated requests for full membership. Council ships became a common sight in Earth's skies. Council advisors filled positions in Earth's governments. Council corporations began mining operations in the asteroid belt. Admiral Carter watched it all with growing concern. In his secure office beneath the Rocky Mountains, he began developing contingency plans, just in case his suspicions proved correct. "Better to have a plan we don't need," he told his most trusted officers, "than need a plan we don't have." Meanwhile, the Council's representatives continued to smile their alien smiles and speak of partnership, progress, and peace. Laura Bennett's eyes burned from staring at screens for 12 hours straight. As a communications specialist at Earth Alliance headquarters, She monitored transmissions between Earth and Council ships. It was mostly routine traffic, until today. "That's odd," she muttered, adjusting her headset. The signal was encrypted, but not with any Council code she recognized. It bounced between 3 Council ships without ever being relayed to Earth authorities. Bennett copied the data and called her friend Eric Powell. If anyone could crack unknown encryption, it was him. "I need a favor," she said when he answered. "Off the books." Powell arrived at her small apartment 2 hours later. With his rumpled shirt and messy brown hair, he looked more like a college student than Earth's leading AI expert. "Council encryption?" he asked, scanning the data. "This isn't their standard diplomatic channel." "That's what worried me," Bennett said. They worked through the night. Powell's decryption programs chipped away at the alien code until fragments became readable. "Look at this," Powell said, pointing to his screen. "Containment protocol, human adaptive traits, potential destabilization." Bennett frowned. "That doesn't sound friendly." Over the next week, they gathered more transmissions. Each decrypted fragment painted a darker picture. The Council wasn't Earth's benevolent guide to the stars. They were systematically stealing human innovations while preventing Earth's advancement. "They classified us as dangerously adaptive," Powell said, his face pale in the glow of his screen. "They think we're evolving too quickly." "We need to take this to someone with authority," Bennett said. They brought their evidence to Counselor Patricia Morgan, Earth's representative to the alien governing body. Morgan listened carefully in her Washington office, her expression growing grimmer with each revelation. "This is troubling," she said when they finished. "But we need absolute proof before confronting the Council. They could claim these are forgeries or taken out of context. By then it might be too late," Bennett argued. Morgan sighed. "Politics requires patience. Keep gathering evidence, but quietly. If the Council suspects we know." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't need to. Bennett recruited a small team to help. Military officer Ryan Mitchell joined after seeing the evidence. With his Special Forces background, he provided security expertise and connections. "The Council's been installing monitoring equipment in all our major cities," Mitchell told them during a secret meeting in Bennett's apartment. "They call it cultural observation tech, but it can track individual people." They'd also been collecting DNA samples, added Dr. Karen Mills, a medical researcher who joined their group. "Far more than needed for compatibility studies." Powell discovered something even more disturbing while digging deeper into Council systems. "They've blocked at least 27 human technological breakthroughs in the past 5 years," he said. "Every time we get close to a major advancement, Council advisors redirect the research or shut it down, claiming safety concerns." The final piece came when Bennett intercepted a high-priority transmission between High Counselor Vex Theri and the Council homeworld. Powell needed 3 days to break the encryption. "It's a 50-year plan," Bennett whispered as they read it together. "Extract all useful human knowledge, prevent our technological advancement, and eventually reduce Earth to a managed resource world. They've done this to other species before. We're nothing but a resource to them," Mitchell said, his fists clenched. Dr. Mills pointed to another section. "They're particularly interested in our genetic adaptability. They want to incorporate that into their own species." Bennett felt cold anger spreading through her chest. 5 years of lies. 5 years of pretending to be humanity's friends while plotting to strip Earth of everything valuable. "We need to get this to Admiral Carter," she decided. "Morgan wants to play politics, but Carter will understand what this means." As they left Bennett's apartment that night, none of them noticed the small Council monitoring drone hovering silently in the shadows across the street, its sensors focused on their meeting place. The red soil of Proxima Centauri crunched under Governor Frank Torres's boots as he stared up at the alien ships filling the sky. Earth's first colony beyond the solar system had been thriving for just 8 months before the Council ships arrived. "They're demanding we evacuate immediately," said his assistant, looking up from her tablet. Torres frowned. The colony of New Hope was home to 5,000 people who had built homes, farms, and research stations. On what grounds? They're claiming Proxima is now a protected zone under Council law. Torres walked to the main communications center, where Lieutenant Commander Julia Fisher was already in conversation with the Council representative on the main screen. "The matter is not open for discussion," said the alien, its gray skin wrinkling with apparent irritation. "This world contains sensitive biological resources. We found nothing like that in our surveys," Fisher argued. "Your surveys were incomplete. You have 30 Earth days to evacuate all personnel." After the transmission ended, Torres slammed his fist on the table. "We're not leaving. This colony has a charter from Earth and the Council approved it just last year." "I think I know what they really want," said Dr. Aaron West, the colony's chief scientist. He led them to his lab and pointed to a glowing blue mineral sample. "We discovered this 3 weeks ago. We're calling it proxinium. It has energy properties unlike anything we've seen before." "And you reported this discovery through official channels?" Torres asked. West nodded. "As required by our agreement with the Council. That was 11 days ago. And now they want our planet," Fisher said quietly. The next morning, Council ships formed a blockade around the planet. No ships could leave or arrive without Council permission. They called it a safety measure. 2 weeks later, as food and medical supplies began to run low, a supply ship from Earth attempted to break through the blockade. Council ships fired warning shots, forcing it to turn back. Fisher, on patrol in a small observation craft, noticed unusual activity on the far side of the planet. Using the craft's stealth system, she moved closer and recorded Council ships landing and setting up mining equipment. "They're extracting the proxinium," she told Torres after returning to the colony. "They don't care about protecting anything. They want the mineral for themselves." Torres called an emergency meeting of the colony leadership. "We have 3 options. Evacuate as ordered, stay and slowly starve, or fight back." "Fighting the Council would be suicide," said Security Chief Ron Garcia. "But we can't just give up our home," argued Dr. West. They decided to send a message to Earth Alliance headquarters explaining the situation. The Council blocked it. They tried sending it through 3 different channels. All were jammed. Meanwhile, the colony's food supplies continued to dwindle. "We need to break the blockade," Torres finally decided. "We'll send 3 transports. 1 with Fisher carrying evidence of the Council's mining operation, 2 as decoys." The plan was set for the next day. Under cover of darkness, 3 identical transports lifted off from different locations. Council ships immediately moved to intercept. Fisher's transport stayed low, using the planet's magnetic field for cover. The other 2 drew the Council ships away, but 1 Council vessel detected Fisher's ship and fired. "We're hit," her pilot shouted as warning lights flashed across the control panel. "Engine 2 is down." "Keep going," Fisher ordered. The transport limped toward the jump point, pursued by the Council ship. More shots hit them, damaging their communication array. "We're losing life support," the pilot warned. Fisher grabbed the emergency beacon and uploaded all their evidence, the videos of Council mining operations, the data on proxinium, the details of the blockade. "Emergency broadcast to all Earth Alliance frequencies," she said as she activated it. "This is Lieutenant Commander Julia Fisher of Proxima Colony. We are under attack by Council forces. This is not a drill. They are mining proxinium and starving our colony." The Council ship fired again. This time, Fisher's transport spun violently as a hull breach alarms screamed throughout the cabin. Back on Earth, Bennett's team received fragments of Fisher's transmission before it abruptly cut off. Bennett stared at the broken message, her face grim. "Now we have proof," she said. Admiral Joseph Carter stared at the damaged transmission playing on the screen in his underground command center. Lieutenant Commander Fisher's face appeared through static, her words cutting in and out. "Council ships, mining operation, starving the colony, attacked without proxinium." The transmission ended with a burst of static. Carter turned to face Bennett. Powell and Mitchell, who had brought him the message. "Can we confirm her ship's status?" Carter asked. Mitchell shook his head. "No, sir. All contact was lost after this transmission." Carter walked to the large display showing Earth and the surrounding space. Dozens of council ships were visible in orbit, so they're willing to kill to keep their secret. For 3 days, Bennett and Powell worked tirelessly to decrypt the full containment protocol. When they finally succeeded, the truth was worse than they had imagined. "They'd done this before," Bennett told Carter, her voice shaking with anger. "At least 7 other species. They find emerging civilizations, pretend to welcome them, then strip them of resources and knowledge." Powell added, "The Council fears human adaptability. Their report says we develop technology and adjust to new situations 10 times faster than the average species. They see us as a threat." Carter nodded grimly. "And threats must be contained." The full document revealed the Council's 50-year plan in horrifying detail. First, they would extract all useful human knowledge. Next, they would prevent any meaningful technological advancement. Finally, they would reduce Earth to a managed resource world, with a controlled population serving as labor for Council projects. "They're already in Phase 2, Mitchell said. "They've infiltrated our governments, militaries, and research centers." Carter called an emergency session of Earth's Alliance Parliament. Representatives from every nation gathered in the secure underground chamber. "Ladies and gentlemen," Carter began, "we have evidence that the Galactic Council has been lying to us from the beginning." He presented everything: the intercepted transmissions, the containment protocol, Fisher's final message. The chamber erupted in shocked outrage. "What about the Proxima colony?" someone asked. "Still under blockade," Carter replied. "And now we know why. This proxinium could be a game changer." As the Parliament debated their response, a new transmission arrived from the Council. High Counselor Vextheri's face appeared on the main screen. "People of Earth," the alien said smoothly, "we regret to inform you that terrorists have attacked our peacekeeping forces at your Proxima colony. The ringleader, Frank Torres, has been charged with crimes against galactic peace." The Parliament watched in stunned silence. "For your own protection," Vextheri continued, "the Council requires Earth to surrender its military fleet for peacekeeping purposes. This is temporary, of course, until the threat is contained." After the transmission ended, silence filled the chamber. Then Counselor Morgan stood up. "We've been blind fools," she said. "They never saw us as equals. We were just another resource to exploit. If we surrender our fleet, we're defenseless," Carter pointed out. "And if we don't?" asked another representative. Carter's face hardened. "Then we prepare for war." The Parliament voted unanimously to reject the Council's demand. Instead, they authorized Carter to implement Operation Phoenix, a contingency plan he had developed years ago when he first grew suspicious of the Council. "They think they know humanity," Carter told his officers as they left the chamber. "They've studied our history, our wars, our diplomacy, but they've never seen humanity truly united against a common enemy." That night, as Council ships moved into aggressive positions around Earth, secret orders went out to military bases around the world and hidden outposts beyond Earth. In her apartment, Bennett received a message from Carter. "It's time. Phoenix is flying." She gathered her team. "The Council thinks they've won," she told them. "But they've made a fatal mistake. They've given humanity something it's never had before." "What's that?" asked Powell. Bennett's eyes flashed with determination. "A single enemy that threatens us all equally. For the first time in history, we're truly united." Earth's leaders worked quickly to buy time. They sent messages to the Council claiming they needed to discuss the terms of surrender, while secretly activating Operation Phoenix. In a hidden lab beneath the Rocky Mountains, engineer Nicole Sanders worked day and night with a team of scientists. They studied the limited Council technology Earth had access to, looking for weaknesses. Their shield systems use a frequency pattern, Sanders explained to Bennett during a secure video call. If we can disrupt that pattern, we might be able to penetrate their defenses. Bennett nodded. Keep working on it. We need every advantage we can get. Meanwhile, Mitchell prepared a special team for a rescue mission to Proxima Colony. They trained in secret facilities, using simulations based on what they knew about Council ships and weapons. We'll need to move fast, Mitchell told his team. Get in, extract as many colonists as possible, and get out before their main fleet can respond. The most important breakthrough came from an unexpected source. Dr. Alan Foster, a scientist working with a small sample of proxinium, smuggled out before the blockade, made a stunning discovery. This mineral doesn't just store energy, he told Carter during a midnight meeting. It can amplify it. I think I can use it to enhance our weapon systems beyond anything the Council has seen. Carter gave him all the resources he needed. How soon? 2 weeks, Foster replied. Maybe less. Across Earth and the solar system, a resistance network called Terra Libra formed. They used old radio frequencies and paper messages to avoid Council monitoring. People from all walks of life joined. Soldiers, scientists, pilots, even teenagers good with computers. The Council grew impatient with Earth's delaying tactics. 7 days after their demand, they launched what they called a peacekeeping intervention on Luna Base, Earth's main settlement on the Moon. Council ships landed without permission. Their soldiers, tall aliens in sleek armor, marched into the base claiming to secure it. When some residents protested, the Council forces used their weapons. 12 humans died. The footage, captured by security cameras, spread throughout Earth within hours. People watched in horror as Council soldiers fired on unarmed civilians. Rage swept across humanity. Protests erupted outside every Council facility on Earth. People who had welcomed the aliens now demanded they leave. In cities around the world, humans tore down Council monitoring devices. They blocked Council officials from entering government buildings. Some even attacked Council ships with whatever weapons they could find. The Council responded by declaring martial law in major cities. More soldiers arrived from their worlds. They set up checkpoints and arrested human troublemakers. This only made the resistance stronger. Terra Libra's membership doubled, then tripled. They don't understand us at all, Bennett told Powell as they worked to coordinate resistance cells. Every time they push, we push back harder. On the 14th day after the Luna Base attack, Dr. Foster completed his proxinium-enhanced weapon prototype. It was a small device that could be mounted on Earth's existing ships. In theory, he explained to Carter, this should cut through their shields like they're not even there. Carter ordered the device installed on a small scout ship for testing. The test was scheduled for the next day. That night, Captain Wright, now commanding the stealth vessel Defiance sent an encrypted message from his hidden position near Mars. Council fleet is moving. 23 capital ships approaching Earth orbit. They're done waiting. Carter called Bennett, Mitchell, Sanders, and other key leaders to the command center. It's happening sooner than we planned, he told them. The Council is making their move to take full control of Earth. They looked at the display showing the approaching fleet. The odds seemed impossible. What do we do? Sanders asked. Carter's face was grim but determined. Spring the trap. Activate all Phoenix units. It's time to show the Council exactly what happens when humanity's rage boils over. He turned to his communications officer. Send the signal. All units, Operation Phoenix is now active. I repeat, Phoenix is active. Across the solar system, hidden human ships powered up their engines. Secret weapons came online. Sleeper agents inside Council facilities prepared to act. The war for Earth's freedom had begun. The Council fleet moved into position around Earth. Their massive ships cast shadows over cities as they hovered in low orbit. High Counselor Vextheri's voice broadcast on all channels. People of Earth, your leaders have unwisely rejected our protection. For your own safety, we are taking control. Resistance will only cause unnecessary suffering. As he spoke, Council ships moved to seize Earth's orbital defense platforms. They expected little resistance from the primitive human weapons. They were wrong. As the first Council ship approached the Atlantic defense platform, Admiral Carter gave the order. Phoenix 1, engage. Suddenly, hidden panels on the defense platform slid open. New weapons emerged, weapons with a blue glow that the Council had never seen before. They fired. Brilliant blue beams cut through the Council ship's shields like they weren't there. The alien vessel shuddered, then went dark as its power systems failed. Across Earth orbit, the scene repeated. Council ships approached, confident in their superior technology. Hidden human weapons activated. Council ships fell back, damaged or disabled. Then came the second surprise. From hidden bases on Mars, the asteroid belt, and even some of Jupiter's moons, human ships appeared. Not the crude vessels the Council had permitted Earth to build, but sleek ships incorporating adapted alien technology that Carter had been developing in secret for years. Captain Wright, commanding the stealth vessel Defiance led the counterattack. His ship moved through the Council fleet, firing the new proximium-enhanced weapons with devastating effect. They never expected us to fight back, Wright told his crew as they disabled a third Council vessel. They thought we would surrender like the other species they've subjugated. On Earth, Councillor Morgan addressed an emergency session of the Parliament. For 5 years, the Galactic Council has lied to us, exploited us, and now attempted to enslave us, she declared. Today, Earth formally withdraws from the Council and declares its independence. The vote was unanimous. Meanwhile, Mitchell's rescue team reached Proxima Colony. Using the new shield-penetrating weapons, they broke through the blockade. On the surface, they found Governor Torres and the colonists fighting their own battle. We've been conducting guerrilla raids against their mining operations, Torres explained as Mitchell's team arrived at the hidden colony base. They control the main settlement, but they can't find us in the caves. Mitchell handed Torres a case containing several of the new weapons. This should even the odds. Back on Earth, Sanders completed her revolutionary shield technology. Unlike the predictable frequency patterns of Council shields, her design constantly shifted and adapted. It's based on the way our immune systems work, she explained to Bennett, always changing to meet new threats. The first human ships equipped with the new shields engaged Council reinforcements arriving from their core worlds. When the Council weapons hit Sanders' shields, they scattered harmlessly. They don't understand adaptability, Bennett told Powell as they watched the battle from the command center. That's why they feared us so much. Powell nodded. They've relied on technological superiority for so long, they'd forgotten how to actually fight. The Council, shocked by humanity's coordinated resistance, called for more reinforcements. They had never expected such fierce opposition from a supposedly inferior species. High Councillor Vexthuri, watching from his command ship, couldn't understand how things had gone so wrong. They were just humans, he told his advisors. How did they develop these weapons? How did they hide these ships? One of his subordinates, a veteran of many conquests, looked grim. We made a critical error, High Councillor. We studied their past, but failed to understand their potential. And worse, we gave them something no human nation has ever had. What's that? Vexthuri demanded. A common enemy that threatened all of them equally. For the first time in their history, humans are completely united. Vexthuri stared at the displays showing his damaged fleet. Prepare our remaining ships. We will not be defeated by primitives. But as he gave the order, more human vessels appeared from hidden locations throughout the solar system. Captain Wright's voice came through on all frequencies. Council vessels, this is Captain Daniel Wright of the Earth Alliance. Your invasion has failed. You have 1 hour to surrender or be destroyed. The choice is yours. 6 months into the war, humanity had evolved from defense to offense. The Council had retreated from Earth orbit after their initial defeat, but the conflict spread across nearby star systems. Dr. Foster's proximium-powered weapons proved devastatingly effective. Council ships, once thought invincible, now fell regularly to human attacks. Earth factories worked around the clock to produce more of these weapons. In her analysis center, Bennett made a critical discovery while studying Council battle records. She called Admiral Carter immediately. "The Council species have never fought a full-scale war," she explained, pointing to data on her screen. "They've used intimidation and superior technology to control other races for centuries. When that failed with us, they had no backup plan." Carter nodded thoughtfully. "No wonder their tactics are so predictable. They have no real combat experience." This insight led to a new strategy. Rather than trying to match the Council's numbers, human forces focused on unpredictable attacks and rapid adaptations of tactics. Meanwhile, Earth had begun forming alliances with other species the Council had subjugated. When Captain Wright's Defiance liberated a mining colony in the Ta Ceti system, the insectoid Siktari welcomed humans as saviors. "Our people have been slaves for 3 generations," their leader told Wright. "We will fight alongside humans for freedom." Similar scenes played out across a dozen worlds. The Council's empire, built on fear and manipulation, began to crumble as subjugated species rose up in revolt. Eric Powell developed an AI system that could predict Council tactical movements with uncanny accuracy. "They rely on standard protocols," he explained to Mitchell as they watched a simulation. "Once you understand their patterns, you can anticipate their next move almost perfectly." Mitchell's special forces used this intelligence to conduct surgical strikes against key Council installations. They destroyed command centers, communication hubs, and supply depots with minimal casualties. The most daring mission came when Wright led an operation to capture a Council command ship. His team, using Sanders shield technology and adaptive stealth systems, boarded the vessel during a battle near Alpha Centauri. After a fierce firefight through the ship's corridors, they secured the bridge. The prize was beyond their hopes: access to the Council's full military database. "This is everything," Wright told Carter during their secure transmission. "Fleet positions, base locations, security codes, the entire Council war network." Carter implemented Operation Wildfire, simultaneous strikes against Council supply lines. Human ships, joined by allies from liberated worlds, hit 27 targets in a single day. The Council lost nearly a third of their logistics capacity overnight. On the Council homeworld, panic spread among the leadership. High Councilor Vextheri faced open criticism for the first time in his long career. "You assured us humans would be easily controlled," said Krulzak, the reptilian councilor. "Now we face rebellion across half our territory." "No one could have predicted their level of adaptation," Vextheri argued. "They've achieved in months what should have taken decades." "The Siktari have joined them," another councilor added. "And now reports say the Drell and Vosians are in rebellion too." The Council, once unified in its domination, began to fracture. Member species blamed each other for the failures. Some secretly reached out to human commanders, seeking separate peace deals. Back on Proxima Colony, now fully liberated, Taurus and Dr. West continued studying Proximium. They made a discovery that stunned even Earth's scientists. "This mineral doesn't just amplify energy," West reported. "With the right configuration, it can create stable wormholes for instant travel between distant points." This breakthrough promised to revolutionize space travel, giving humanity another advantage over the Council's conventional drive systems. As human forces prepared for what might be the final offensive, Bennett reflected on how quickly everything had changed. "6 months ago, we were fighting for our survival," she told Powell as they watched ships prepare for departure. "Now we're fighting to reshape the galaxy." Powell smiled. "The Council thought our adaptability was dangerous. They were right, just not in the way they imagined." Admiral Carter addressed the combined fleet before they departed for the Council's core systems. "Today we fight not just for Earth, but for all species who deserve freedom. The Council's time is ending. A new era is beginning. The final battle came at the Arcturus system, home to the Council's central station. The massive ring-shaped structure had stood for 2,000 years as the seat of the Council's power. The human fleet, joined by ships from 7 formerly subjugated species, emerged from proximium-generated wormholes. They appeared simultaneously at strategic points around the Council station, achieving complete surprise. Captain Wright led the main assault force in the Defiance *, now upgraded with the latest human-alien hybrid technology. All ships, execute attack pattern Phoenix, he ordered. Remember, we target military and command structures only. Civilian areas are to be avoided. On the station, High Counselor Vex Theory watched in horror as his defensive fleet fell into disarray. The suddenness of the human attack left his commanders confused and uncoordinated. How did they get past our early warning systems? He demanded. No one had an answer. The wormhole technology had rendered the Council's defensive perimeter useless. As the battle raged outside, a smaller stealth ship approached the station's docking bay. Inside were Bennett, Mitchell, Sanders, and a team of specialists. Their mission was to reach the Council's central control room and end the war. Mitchell's team fought their way through the station's corridors, facing diminishing resistance as many of the station's security forces surrendered rather than fight. They've never experienced a direct attack here, Bennett observed as another group of Council guards dropped their weapons. They don't know what to do. Meanwhile, Wright's fleet methodically disabled the station's weapon systems and communication arrays. 3 Council ships attempted to escape but were quickly captured by human vessels. In the central command hub, Vex Theory made a final desperate attempt to save himself. When Mitchell's team breached the doors, he stood with his hands raised. Perhaps we can still negotiate, the High Counselor suggested, his confident manner now replaced with obvious fear. I could offer humanity a true partnership this time. Equal status, full technology sharing, everything you wanted. Admiral Carter, watching through Bennett's video feed from Earth, delivered the response. We've seen what your promises are worth, Vex Theory. The Council's rule is over. We demand unconditional surrender. As Vex Theory hesitated, news arrived that 3 Council races, the Krell, the Manteri, and the Solari, had already signed separate peace treaties with humanity. The Council, united for 2 millennia, had completely fractured. Your choice, Counselor, Bennett said. Surrender now, or face trial for what you've done to countless species across the galaxy. Vex Theory slumped in defeat. The remaining Council hardliners were arrested, while across the galaxy, subjugated worlds rose up against their weakened oppressors. 1 month later, representatives from 27 species gathered on the former Council station, now renamed Unity Station. They signed the charter for a new galactic confederation, founded on principles of equality and mutual respect. Captain Wright, now Admiral Wright, addressed the first Confederation Assembly. 2,000 years ago, the Council was formed with noble intentions that were eventually corrupted by greed and fear, he told the gathered delegates. Let us learn from their mistakes. Power must never again be concentrated in the hands of the few. Earth, once a backwater planet that the Council had planned to exploit, now stood as the architect of a more just galactic order. Human adaptability, the very trait the Council had feared, became the foundation for a new era of cooperation. Back on Earth, Bennett stood on a hillside watching the sunset. Above, visible even in daylight, ships from a dozen worlds moved in orbit. Allies and trading partners now, not conquerors. Powell joined her, carrying 2 cups of coffee. Thinking deep thoughts? He asked. Bennett smiled, just reflecting on how far we've come. The Council thought they could break us. Instead, they united us. That was their biggest mistake, Powell agreed. They didn't understand that humanity's greatest strength isn't our rage or our technology. No, Bennett said, looking up at the stars now appearing in the darkening sky. It's what we choose to build after the rage cools. Across the galaxy, a new era had begun, one where humanity and its allies would face the future together, stronger for having overcome the Council's betrayal.